All right, everybody, what is going on? Good morning. It is indeed a good morning. If you're watching this channel, it is overwhelmingly likely that you are a Seahawks fan. And if you are a Seahawks fan, you just got to watch your favorite team beat down a division rival in a playoff game, an all-time beatdown. That is special. That is not something that happens very often. And definitely take time to celebrate it and cherish it and understand that kind of an adrenaline rush, that kind of a dopamine rush doesn't happen that often in this sport when you choose to root for a team. That was special. So now, unfortunately, we do need to spend a little bit of time talking about probably the one thing from that game last night that was not so great, but it's also the thing that people want to know about the most right now because this pertains to the future. So let's talk a little bit about some of the injury stuff from last night. All right, everybody, before we go any further into the video, I want to take a minute to tell you guys about a wonderful app called Sleeper, a one-stop shop for all your sports needs. You can celebrate and chat about sports in real time with other users. You can get all kinds of scores, sports news, and sports alerts with blazing fast speed. And of course, you can play in fantasy leagues and win real money on picks contests. So enjoy sports with other people in a community. Download the Sleeper app today and remember to use the promo code SBN, that is SBN, for up to a $100 match on your first deposit. And they also have a free $20 entry right now, no deposit required, so pair those two up. Terms and conditions do apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states and growing. Check out the Sleeper app and have fun with sports this year. All right, so the one thing that happened last night that was kind of bad, or at least potentially bad, I should stress that. We have no reason to believe this is actually going to be bad yet, but it's worth getting into. We're talking about injuries. We got this tweet up on screen from Michael Dugar with quotes from Mike Macdonald last night. Now, I did talk about this a little bit on stream, and I did write an article for On SI about this last night, but I figured it would be worth reiterating in a video for the people who might not know about this. But we did get a little bit of information about injuries last night from Macdonald. Now, by no means did Macdonald answer every question that we might have. To be perfectly honest, he doesn't have all the answers right now anyway. There's no way he could. But let's talk about what he said about Zach Charbonnet and Charles Cross and get what we do have. So, obviously, last night, two Seahawks got injured during the course of that game. I think it was only those two. One was Zach Charbonnet. He got the ball on 3rd and 2. He kind of went down weird when he got tackled, and he ended up with a knee injury. He walked off into the blue tent. Then he walked to the locker room. And then after halftime, he did come out, but he watched the rest of the game from the sideline, did not go back in. And obviously, people were concerned, although I think they were a little bit less concerned after they saw him walk off and then kind of be able to go to the locker room under his own power. But when Macdonald was asked about Charbonnet, what he said was optimistic with Charbs, which is, of course, Charbonnet. We've got to get an image and stuff, so there's going to be an MRI probably later today. Maybe it's actually already been done by the time I've uploaded this video. Early indications are hopefully it's okay structurally, but you never know with these things, but he wasn't able to come back, obviously. So right now, sounds like Macdonald is pretty positive about the Charbonnet thing, but we don't know yet for sure. Now, I think that if it was something disastrous, he probably wouldn't have been walking around on it, probably wouldn't have been out on the sideline, probably would have stayed in the locker room. It looked like whatever it was wasn't that big of a deal, but we'll find out more hopefully today. And whenever we do find out that stuff, assuming we do later today, I'll make a video about it. But right now, the lean is towards an optimistic conclusion to this. And then you had Charles Cross. So Charles Cross, I didn't see the exact moment it happened, but in the 3rd quarter, he got hurt with his foot. He walked off, went to the locker room. came back, and like Charbonnet, watched the rest of the game from the sideline. Now, it's important to note that by the time Cross got back from the locker room, the game was out of hand. It was already a blowout. So him not going back into the game, even at that point, seemed like it might have been more about where the game was rather than what he could physically do or not do. So when Macdonald was asked about Cross, he said it was really out of caution. So precautionary, which was a favorite word of the Seahawks over this last week, by the way. So they kept Cross out for precautionary reasons. We were in a position where we didn't need him to come back. So what it sounds to me like is basically he's saying if the game was close, he could have gone back out. That's kind of what that sounds like to me. If he needed to play through it, he could have, but he didn't need to. So when that sounds to me like this isn't that big of a deal, but he did say we're still going to have to work through it with his foot. I don't have an indication of what that's going to look like. So he's not completely dismissing it, but it sounds like something that he can play through even if it is non-trivial. And certainly players play through injuries all the time. You would prefer they don't, but especially right now with the Seahawks about to play in the NFC Championship game, there's a tremendous incentive for players to play through injuries if they think they can. So what I hear from this is that Cross is fine. Charbonnet, I'm not so sure, because the thing to understand is, based on these comments, it sounds like Charbonnet's okay, but what the comment really pertains to is stuff like a torn ligament or a torn tendon, right? It's not really about availability for a game in 7 days. We play somebody in the NFC title game next week. Just because Charbonnet is okay and doesn't have a completely wrecked leg doesn't mean that he's going to be able to play against whoever in 7 days. So there is a big difference between being okay and being able to play in a football game. So I would definitely wait to see what they say later, and I would definitely wait to see what happens in practice this week. But at the very least, what we can say is that it doesn't look like Charbonnet or Cross are devastatingly injured. It doesn't look like they've got something that's going to keep them out the rest of the season. It doesn't look like it's going to be some months-long rehab. So we at least got that going for us. We at least can say that it's minor, but minor could be significant in the short term. All right, I'm going to get out of here. See you guys later today. More videos coming. Go Hawks. Watch football later. Have fun with it. We got 2 games, and by the end of the day, we will know who we play next week. And there will be a video about that whenever we learn. All right, see you guys later. Go Hawks.